Let's talk building a home. What's the difference between a production home builder versus custom building? A production home builder like Miranda Homes, D.R. Horton, Ryan Homes, they are going to be better for convenience, cheaper cost, more reliable cost, and quicker timeline. Custom home building is great for having full control and uniqueness in your property and basically a lot of flexibility. However, it is going to be more expensive and longer timelines. Now let's break it down. Production home builders like Ryan Homes, Fisher Homes, D.R. Horton, Miranda Homes, they are going to be cheaper in general. You're going to have more predictable costs because everything comes up in the front, like starting in the low 300s, starting in the low 400s. You see those signs probably everywhere when you're driving across America. And that is basically what you're going to get. You're going to sit in and have that appointment and basically choose what upgrades that you want. So that could quickly, if they say it's starting in the low 300s, you could quickly end up in like the low 400s to 450 by just adding upgrades. That's kind of how they get you. But once that building process starts, you don't really get a lot of surprises during the home building process when you choose a production home builder. Now, also with the production home builder, you don't get a lot of flexibility and customization. You go in and they basically have a set of floor plans to choose from, a set of options of what the outside of your house can look like, a set of upgrades to choose from. So you have options when it comes to the finishes and things like that, but it's not going to be anything super unique. And it's not going to be something that you can really customize a lot, especially when it comes to big structural changes. Those are either going to be not an option or very, very expensive. Now, sometimes the production home builders can get a little bit more custom. Like, in my opinion, I think Fisher Homes is a little bit more customizable than Ryan Homes, D.R. Horton, Miranda Homes, and production builders of that source. But still, you're definitely not going to get as much flexibility and customization as obviously a custom home build. Also, when it comes to production home building costs, they do often offer incentives for buyers, like buying your rate down or paying for some closing costs, paying for some of your down payment. So that is another huge key when it comes to production home building, another big pro that they have. Another thing about production home building is the timeline is going to be quicker than custom home building. So usually this timeline ranges from 4 to 8 months or so. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer, but the timeline is more predictable and it's shorter. And when you choose a lot, they basically have bought a bunch of land and they separate the land into lots when these production home builders are buying and choosing their new developments. They separate it into lots and you basically choose a lot from what they have available. Sometimes you might get stuck with the last lot in their development and it might not be something that you really love, but you want to build your house and you want a new home, so you're going to deal with it. Overall, the process is going to be easier. It's going to be less stress on you. You're going to have less hiccups or surprises when it comes to the building process and the budget. You usually get a warranty included when it comes to production home builders. Now, on the downside, you will likely have an HOA, and there are rules when it comes to HOA. You have less flexibility, less options, less customization, and you get less options when it comes to choosing your lot and where your land is going to be. Now, let's jump right into it and talk about custom home building. And might as well just talk about land since we've been on that topic. With a custom home build, you will have to likely buy the land yourself. This could either be a bad or good thing based on your opinion, your views, your perspective. I think it's a good thing because you can have the flexibility to choose wherever that you want. Imagine your dream home on your dream piece of land. You can likely find that. You likely want to custom home build because you want to choose the exact land that you want to be on. For me, for example, my dream home is going to be on a plot of land that's about 5 to 6 acres, surrounded by woods, but still have like land that I have to mow, just a little bit of it, maybe like an acre or so. And then the rest is surrounded by woods. And I would love to be able to watch the sunrise and the sunset from my plot of land. Now, that might sound crazy to some people, but I live in the city right now, and it's hard to honestly watch the sunrise and sunset because there's just houses around, there's wires around. So that is my dream home. And you can likely find that when you are purchasing land yourself. Now, the downside is maybe you don't have a lot of flexibility, so maybe you have to stay in one area. There's more houses for sale than land. So it might be a harder time finding that land, but when you do, you can hold on to it for years and just pay the property tax, which is probably pretty cheap, but you don't have to build right away if you don't want to. You can hold on to land for years and then build your dream home whenever you want to. Now, when it comes to buying land, you will have to do some inspections and you have to do some work. You might have to clear out the land itself. It has to be buildable. So these are things that you have to know when you are buying that land before you buy that land. And a real estate agent like me can help you with that. You have to make sure that there's electricity available, make sure you get water available, gas, all the utilities are on site. Get them inspected. You have to make sure that the land itself is buildable, so doing soil samples, etc. Those are things that you do in the process of buying land. Now, you have your land and you're ready to build on it. You either are going to find a custom home builder, you can find them online, or you are going to just do everything yourself and contract everything that you can yourself. So, from the people that are laying the foundation all the way to the drywallers, electricians, etc. It's probably easier to just hire a custom home building company. And honestly, people talk about building a house is one of the most stressful things. Getting married, going through that wedding process and planning a wedding, having a baby, having kids, and then building a house together. Those are like three things that are going to shake up your relationship. My sister just recently built like a custom home down in Kentucky, and she said it was one of the most stressful things that she's ever done, but she didn't use like a custom home building person. It's just stressful in general. Things pop up with custom home building. It is going to be more expensive. It is going to take longer time, sometimes up to 2 years, most likely 1 to 2 years to build a custom house. It's going to be more expensive. On average, like per square foot, it's going to be 15 to 40% more expensive than a production home builder. Like I said, you got to do the land prep. You will have things that pop up like unexpected costs, maybe. Timelines can get pushed back more easily with custom home building. But obviously, the biggest pro when it comes to custom home building is the customization, and it is completely unique. In my opinion, probably more beautiful, but it's going to be a beautiful, unique home that you dream of. Any kind of layout that you want, you can have. The possibilities are endless when it comes to custom home building. That does mean it's going to be more expensive, but it's likely going to pay off in the long run. Most people love their custom home built homes, and you just have a lot of flexibility. You can pretty much build the home around your lifestyle and just build the dream home that you've always wanted. There's really no right or wrong answer, and one option isn't better than the other one. It really just depends on your lifestyle and what you want in your home. Production home building is going to be best if you want a simpler and easier process, something that's quicker as well and more predictable as far as timelines and costs go. Custom home building is going to be best if you want a one of a kind home and you want complete control and customization over the whole process, and when location or the land matters the most to you. Plus, having the time and patience to deal with the custom home building process. So, if you have any questions about the new build process, whether it be the production or the custom home building, please reach out to me. I am Nikki Shorter on the Nicole Yoder Barnhart team at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, and I would love to help you build your dream home here in the Columbus, Ohio area.